Hello, we are live here with our second episode of the Falling for Craft series. And today we are going to create a fall leaf wreath using felt. I'm sure you hear my machine going in the background here. I am trying to get some things cut here while we're doing this so you don't have to stare at it cutting all the time. So we're gonna jump over and switch out the felt, and then we'll jump into Silhouette Studio, and I'm gonna show you how we're doing what we're doing. So let me just swap this one out. I will go through all of this with you, how we're gonna do all this. This is why it's great to have more than one mat. And then I'm gonna teach you a neat trick. When you're cutting the same thing over and over again, you have this little repeat button here. Once you've loaded in your new mat, I can just hit that and it's gonna start going. So I did a lot of pre-cutting here. You can see because it takes about 10 or 15 minutes to cut out a sheet. So now that we have that done, let's jump into Silhouette Studio and let me show you what we're actually doing here. Okay, so I have a little fall leaf design here. And let me, oops. And with this leaf, I did a full page. So let me show you what we did here. Here's what's actually cutting right now. I did a full page and then sent this to cut. So I'm just gonna show you how to get this all set up. But before I do that, here is where you can grab that file. And then I'm gonna throw that also in the chat. This is a free file. You can grab that over at craftychristiescreations.com/leaf-cut-file-freebie. So that's where you can grab this file if you want to craft along with me. You can grab that over there. Gonna just pin that to the top of the chat so it's there for you so you can grab this file. All right, let's get back to Silhouette Studio and start creating. Okay, so here's what we're doing with it. So here's my leaf. Now the felt that I have is 12, well, slightly smaller than 12 by 12. So as you can see here, I have everything kind of shifted to the left a bit so that my side over here and then my bottom here is where the gap is at. But to create this, what I did was I took my leaf and I put it up here in this top corner where I want it. And then I came over to the replicate panel and I started with just the fill page, and I knew that wasn't gonna be enough. So then what I did is I took these bottom two, deleted that, took this one, replicated it one more time, and then rotated it. I'm holding down the shift key so it stops kind of on the 90 degree or the 45 degree turns there. And then I took this and scooted it up in here in between. And you can see, well, this one's not gonna cut. That's fine, we'll just get rid of that one. And then I can scoot these up a bit more here. And then now with all of those selected, I'm gonna go ahead and replicate below. And actually, let's delete that one. So here, what I'm gonna do is also scoot that up in between so we can make the most of our mat here. So with all of those still selected, we're gonna do one more time. And you can see I'm not gonna get all of those, so I'm gonna delete that bottom row. I have this row here, and I'm just scooting that one up as well. And then that's how I created the page that we're cutting. So I just wanted to show you how I did that. Here is the actual page that I did. The reason I don't want to kind of goof this up is because I'm just hitting that repeat button, which I showed you. So here's the page, and then we are using the rotary blade for this one. So when you come over to the send panel, you see right now it's busy because it is cutting. But I've got my felt chosen here with the rotary cut blade, and it's detected it. The only thing different I've done was I went ahead and turned that speed up from a 5 to a 6. I could probably turn the force down a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about that because everything's cutting just fine. And then you'll see on the rotary blade, there is no blade depth because it is just a wheel that sits on there and cuts in lines. So you'll notice on the screen here, we've got all these extra lines here, and that is where the blade is turning over. So there's a lot of them kind of down here in the gaps, and the blade will go there multiple times to turn itself to come through and cut the shapes correctly. So that is what we're doing. And I have to be honest, I have tried to cut felt for years and years and years. And this is the first time that I have finally been successful with it. I've tried the auto blade, I've tried the deep cut blade, and now I've found luck with the rotary blade. And I do know that not all felt is created equal. The stuff we're using today is this pack here that I got off of Amazon. And it's, they're 12 by 12. And I think they said it's like 1.4 millimeters thick. So they're pretty thin pieces here, and they're pretty flimsy as well. But that's what we're using. So I am using a light red. I've got a darker red, kind of an orangey yellow, beige color, and then I did a darker brown, and then I did this kind of what do you want to call it? It's like an olive green color. So there's like 5 different colors here that we're doing. And then we're cutting that out. So let me show you what else we have here. So you can see everything's cutting, and I've got these set up. And then I've got this hoop here. This is a bamboo hoop. Everything is linked in the description here. And this came in a 2-pack. I don't actually, let's see, I forgot how. So this is almost about a 12, so it's about a 12-inch round hoop. It's made out of bamboo, and we're going to be using this to make our wreath, and then we're going to be hot gluing everything. So that little leaf pattern is all we did to cut everything out here, and then we can get them all set up. But I want to finish cutting everything out before I start assembling, because my glue gun here does not have an on-off switch. So once you plug it in, it's ready to rock and roll. And I'm not quite ready for that yet. So this one here is done. Now I'm gonna teach you a little trick that I did. I like to protect my mat from all of the fibers that come with any kind of fabric. So I've got some transfer tape here that I use, and I put on my mat to protect my mat. And then, so that way I still have a clean mat. But you'll see the depth that I'm using, it cut through that transfer tape, which I'm not that worried about. So we just have to peel all of the transfer tape off of our little leaves here so that they're ready to use. But that's how we got that set up here. And then we just, you can either do it while you're sitting here, but all I'm doing, I found it's easiest to start at a point. So I like to start at the top here, and I'm able to just peel the rest of that transfer off of my leaf, and then I can set that aside. I know this is riveting stuff here. So if you're just joining us, we are creating a fall leaf wreath, and I've sort of pre-cut some of these in advance, but I didn't get them all done. So we're just kind of starting this project sort of in the middle here. Little unconventional, but I walked you through how I got the file set up, and in the chat and then also in the description there's a link where you can grab this leaf file and make this project right along with me. I did not change the size of the leaf. I left it the size that it is in the file, which is about 3 inches tall. and I think it was like 1.3 inches wide is what it ended up being. And then using that transfer tape to save my mat, because you can see on the back of this transfer tape there's all sorts of fibers on here, so that's why I like to use that transfer, so that way I'm not getting my mat covered in the fibers, because then your mat's going to lose its stickiness really quickly. So we're just kind of working through these that I've cut before. I'm peeling all that transfer tape off the back. I like to do all my cutting first especially when I'm working with projects for using a glue gun, because I don't want to waste any of that hot glue. So if you wanted to step these leaves up a notch, because right now they're just plain colored leaves, which there's nothing wrong with that, but you absolutely could get some fabric paint and paint some little veins on your leaves. You could absolutely do that, and that would just step this up another degree to make this project even more beautiful. So that is also an option. I chose not to do that because I would absolutely have to do a lot of that off screen, so we could keep the project moving, because you would have to wait for all that to dry. But I think that would be a lovely addition to doing this. So we have that machine cutting. We're using our rotary blade, cutting out some felt. And then I covered my mat with transfer tape. So I'm just getting all the transfer tape off of here so we can set this mat up for one more piece. We're going to cut out this color red, this lighter red as well. It's cutting that dark red, and then up here you can see all the different colors we've already cut. So I've got a really nice orange, a brown, a kind of yellowy brown, a green, and then 2 shades of red. And then with the way that we have everything laid out on the screen, it cut like, I think it was like 33 leaves out of each color. I had some little goof up with this lighter color. I was trying to hurry and then was gonna try to see if I could also cut using my fabric blade. I'm just gonna trial it. But this version that I'm in of Silhouette Studio in version 5 did not like the idea of 2 machines running at the same time. So it ended up pausing my 5, and it goofed up the cut on that sheet of yellow because it couldn't remember where it was. So that was kind of unfortunate, but lesson learned. I'll have to dig into how we can make that work. How many of you guys have more than one machine, and do you do a lot of crafting with multiple machines at the same time? I don't do it very often, but occasionally it is helpful. Okay, so let's get this sheet prepared. I've got my transfer tape here. I did not link to this transfer tape because I don't overly enjoy it as transfer tape. I find it to be a little bit too sticky, actually. When I used it with vinyl, it just left some residue on my vinyl, and I really could not, I couldn't get it off my vinyl. And so that was a bit of a headache. So I don't actually recommend this, so I did not link to it. But any kind of transfer tape that you have sitting around. So I have vowed to use this transfer tape for projects like this, where it has a good hold and it's going to do what it needs to do. So I've just got it lined up on this end. My cuts are not straight, and I am going to try really hard to cut a straight line here and cover up this entire 12 by 12 area on my mat. So this is just to help protect that mat. This is one of the things, I'm sure if you follow along for any length of time, you've seen me do this before. I do this for projects on my sticky mat for anything that is going to leave fibers or anything behind. So anytime I'm doing a fabric project, felt, heat foiling, I will do this on my sticky mat as well because that will leave a mark. And then to prevent these edges from lifting, I try to cut it as close to the edge as I can. And even this stuff doesn't want to stick really great to my mat. So sometimes what I'll do is come in with my scraper to just get that stuck down. And then you can see here, this is really thin and you can maybe see through it a little bit, but this is gonna look great. So we'll go ahead and stick this on here. And then again, I'm trying to keep it closer to the left side of my mat because these sheets are not perfectly 12 by 12. Actually, I did a better job on this edge. So I'm just gonna get this stuck down on here. Give that a good press. And then the sheet that is in there right now is almost done. That's one of our other colors. So we'll let that continue cutting there. So let's go back to Silhouette Studio and we'll just kind of recap what we're doing here. So this is our sheet here with the leaf file, and you can see all these little marks on here. That is from our rotary blade because it has to turn those corners on that blade to make sure that it can get through everything. I'm gonna try and turn that blade depth up to 7. So when this one is done, we'll see if this one will cut a little bit faster. So that is what we're working on right now. And you can see we've got things cutting out. And we will be heat gluing everything here to our little bamboo piece here. So what I'm thinking how we'll do this is we'll end up taking these leaves, and I think I'm gonna try to just we'll put this long stem is what's going to adhere it to the wreath. But I think we're also gonna maybe try to do like a little dot here and just pinch these closed so that they have a little bit of a form to them as well. And then you figure they'll just hang like this. So I think we're just gonna glue everything to the inside. We might have to do, I think we're gonna do both sides of the wreath actually. So we'll do some on the inside and some on the outside. And I'll be honest, I don't even know if we have enough leaves here. We'll just kind of have to see how things go as we continue. So what we can do, I'm just gonna go ahead and plug in my my heat gun here. I'm working on a protective mat so that if I make a big mess with this glue gun, we'll be okay. So let me just get this plugged in. We'll go ahead and warm up our glue gun. Come on, plug in. Okay, so we'll let that warm up here. You'll all know it's warm because it'll start dripping some glue. This page here is done. I'm gonna go ahead and release that. And then since we made some changes to our settings, I'm just gonna insert and then hit send from the machine like we normally would because I made some changes. I'm just gonna come down here and hit send. It's just giving me that reminder that everything looks good. We're gonna hit send again, and then that's gonna send to the machine. Let's see, down here it says preparing. It says it's gonna take 10 minutes to cut that out. So we can keep moving forward. Sorry if this looks a little bit blurry on this screen. So this is heating up here. Let's see if I can get that cord out of our way here. So while that's heating up, we can go ahead and start removing all of these. And I don't know, I think we're probably gonna have to, so I just did one sheet of each color, but I kind of have a feeling we're gonna have to do 2 sheets. Unless you just wanted to do, some of the stuff I've been seeing is you do like, just like the bottom or just the top. So maybe we'll just start with the bottom and see if we want to just cover the bottom or if we want to cover the whole thing. So as I'm doing this, I'm just removing the transfer tape. It's because it cut through both layers. So I'm just lifting up that felt and then also that transfer tape. So this is the first time we're doing a felt project on the channel. I have been struggling for many years trying to find the right settings to cut felt. And I've had this rotary blade for a little while now, and you all have been requesting that we do some fabric projects. So I got that rotary blade to help cut fabric. And so here we are, finally able to cut some felt. So if you're just joining us, why don't you go ahead and say hey in the chat. And then also there's a pinned message in the chat. If you want to grab this file and cut along with us, you can do that. That's a free file. You just have to fill out that form on that page with your name and your email address. And then that file will get sent to you momentarily. And then I did not resize anything. We're just cutting everything out the size that it is on that file for the leaf. We replicated it on our page and then scooted everything together so it all fits nice and tight together so we're not wasting any felt. I'm just getting these and our glue gun is just kind of getting ready there. So I don't know, what do you think? This is like 33 of each of these. I have a feeling we're gonna have to cut more than one sheet of each color. I thought I would have enough time this morning to get all these cut, but I kind of started late because I tell you, I'm not a good planner. I'd like to do everything last minute, and that includes prepping stuff for when I'm showing you guys how we're gonna create projects. So, you know, here we are. But hey, we're having a lovely Sunday crafting. This is our second video in the series Falling for Crafts, where we're doing fall decor crafts in September just to get us ready to welcome in this lovely autumn weather. And I tell you what, autumn has definitely arrived here. The rain has come back today, which, living in Oregon, we don't get much rain in the summer, really hardly any at all. So rain is a welcome sight. My plants are happy, they're getting a free drink. It's gonna be about time to get out there and do my last harvest here pretty soon of my tomatoes. Just waiting on them to finish turning. I have lots of them on there, but they're all green. So hopefully a little drink of water won't ruin them. Oh, let's see. I think we're gonna chance it for right now. So I'm just gonna set this mat aside. We'll let that one finish. I got a little bit of drip going on here. So I think this guy is ready. So what I'm gonna do is just put a little pinch of glue to pinch this in half. So we're just gonna pinch the bottom of the leaf together, and that's just gonna give us a little good dimension there. And then we can go ahead and just put a little dab of glue on the back of the stem. And then I'm just gonna glue that stem. This one I'm gonna glue on the inside, and then we'll just kind of alternate on the inside and the outside, and then just picking different colors. So there's lots of ways we could go about doing this. You could go ahead and just pinch all the leaves first. and do that and then decide to place them on here. That's kind of up to you how you want to do it. But I will say this is very thin, so just be careful. This is hot glue and you definitely don't want to burn yourself. So I'm going to do this in the same spot, but on kind of the outside there. Maybe I should, well, it's on there now. I was going to say maybe I should kind of change up the directions on those a little bit. But, all right, let's see here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here on the inside to pinch this together. That's just giving it a little form. And then some glue. I put glue down the whole stem here to make sure that it's really going to glue down in place. And let's see, how do we want to do this? Actually, I think I'm just winging this. I don't really have a plan. Maybe 3 sides? What do you think? Make it look a little different, and then we can just keep tucking in different colors here. Stems might be a little bit long, but I'm okay with that. We may have to also think about gluing, if a different section of this leaf needs to be glued down. I'm going to put this one, I'm just going to try to tuck this in like here. Yeah, so these, we may have to put some glue kind of up the center to help hold them down, but maybe we like them to kind of flap around. I don't know. We can do an orange one on this side. Probably going to end up doing a bit of a pattern, or I guess like a repetition in colors, so that way we're making sure that we're getting, I'm sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. So we're getting all the different colors on here. I think I'm just gonna, and then you also get to decide like how far you want to space these out, knowing that you really want to fill this up and you want to see all the pretty colors. So I think from here, here I'm gonna do the, I guess it would be here, would be this red that's cutting right now. So let's maybe make these kind of in a color combination here. So we did green, and then this red, and then brown, orange, and then the other red will go here. So that way we're kind of hopefully keeping things. So I'm going to do the red here. So then I'm going to do green on this top. So I'm just putting a little dab on the inside here to pinch this. And then just glue down the stem. And yes, this does make a lovely mess. That's okay. And then you get to decide how far down on here you want it to go. That did not pinch together very well. And I will say I'm not the best with a glue gun. So when we're all done, I have a lot of little strays to clean up here. Okay, so if we did green there, so then this guy should go at the bottom because our other red's going there when it's done. So I'll put my little glue dot there to pinch these together. So the pinching together part is where you have to be careful. Maybe you want to use a pair of tweezers to do that instead, because this is thin and I have already had a few ouchy moments where I got a little too close. Yeah, that did not pinch together very well. So just trying different things here to just see how this is gonna look. So then, let's see if that goes here. This one's gonna go down here a little bit further. I'm just gonna leave a spot for that red. I think we probably will have to at least do another sheet of the orange because the sheet that I did kind of got goofed and did not have enough room. So I was gonna try to start cutting on multiple machines at the same time, and Silhouette Studio said, "Not today, my friend." And I said, "Well, okay, but goofed this up in the process." So if you're just joining us, we are creating a fall leaf wreath out of felt. And in the description, and if you're in the chat, there is a link there to where you can grab the file that we're using to do this project. And you can grab that for free over at craftychristies.com/leaf-cut-file. I think that's what it is. Leaf cut file. And we're just getting some more cut here with we're using our rotary blade and then using that free file, and we're just wrapping things around our bamboo. This is a 12 by 12. I think they called it a wreath or a hoop. Not really sure what the correct words were, but I think this is looking great. So I'm just trying to remember to go like here, 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 here. So on 3 sides, and then just kind of alternating the colors here. And then leaving a spot in there for the red that is still cutting. But we kind of have a lot of the same, you know, we have a dark brown, kind of a yellowy brown, and then an orange that all look very similar. And then that lovely deep red, and then the green. So we may have to decide to rethink our pattern of how we're coloring to maybe split up some more of these browns. But I think everything so far is looking good. Oh, we just did that. Oh, that one needs, kind of have to pinch that and give it a second to hold there. But what do you think so far? I think things are looking pretty good. We'll have that light red will fit here, and then the next one we'll put over here to just kind of give some things a little different here. And I've already goofed up the pattern. But I guess that's okay too. Okay, so we did side, side, middle, and we did not even keep them in the same order. Side, side, red in the middle. Side, side, middle, side, side, middle. Yeah, we kind of goofed that up a little bit. So then on, let's see. I'm gonna do that light red on here, so then we'll do green here in the middle. I'm just trying to leave some space in there for the other color. But you may decide it's easier to just wait for it to all be done, so you don't end up goofing things up like I am. And then you also, it is up to you to decide how spaced out you want these to be. And honestly, if you space them out enough, you might find that one 12 by 12 sheet is enough. Okay, so we did that green. So then this one we're gonna put on the side here. I think this red is the thinnest of all of these. And that's the one that I seem to keep hurting myself a little bit because it's warm. Imagine that hot glue is hot. Okay, so this one we're gonna put on the end here. Oops. Okay, so let me know in the chat if you have any questions. Have you guys done felt projects in the past? A lot of the felt projects I've done in the past, I've just cut felt by hand. So this is the first time I've successfully been able to cut felt, and the key has been to use the rotary blade. That has been what has finally worked for me. So we are just going to keep pinching those sides together and then glue all the way down the stem. And then spacing wise, I'm pretty much kind of going down to the end of where one stem ends and then gluing the next stem over that. So that's what I'm doing for spacing. And it seems to be working well. The hardest part is to get these guys to pinch. Okay, so don't forget you can grab that free file to cut these out with us. The link is pinned in the chat, and then it's also the first link in the description box under supplies. And then you can be creating this right along with us. Oh, and I need to add another stick in here. Not happy there, huh? All right, so that one is all done, which is great. So we can start using that on here too. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let's get this unloaded. Let's look over here. Okay, so this one's done. So remember we put that transfer tape underneath, and even still it got a little stuck. So some of these it looks like didn't quite cut. They overlapped. So that, I mean, having that extra transfer tape on there just makes things a little bit thicker. And then you could kind of hear it there at the end. It sounded like it kind of got stuck. Okay, got all of those out. And then, oh, see this, some of these at the bottom don't have stems. Okay, well, that's okay. We'll still make good use of them. And then we just have to remove the transfer tape that's on the back. If you decide that that is too tedious, you could probably just leave it on there, and I bet it would work just fine. But I'm going to go ahead and just, so now we can go ahead. I'm just going to use this one here. I'm going to put a little glue here in this corner to close this up. Give that a little pinch. That gives our leaf a little extra shape. And then we're going to put some glue down the stem here. And then this one I'm going to tuck in right here. And it's cool because we get more and more dimension because these will kind of stack on top of each other, and I think that looks really fun. And then our other red, we decided, I think was supposed to come over here. It's supposed to be between those two. So let's grab another one. Put a little glue here first. Fold this up. Some glue on there. And then this one we needed to tuck right in here on the side here, and I didn't really leave space. So let's see if we can't just tuck it in. The great part is that this is going to be so full that you're not really going to notice. So we got that one is on the side here. And then I think we need, that was actually probably supposed to go right here, wasn't it? This one's going to go on the far side. So we'll go ahead and put our little dot there. And then give that a good pinch, and then glue down that stem. And then I like to go where the last stem ends is where the new stem will start. So that way they get a little space there. See how I did that? Just not. I want to stay close. And don't worry about all your little hot glue strings. We can get rid of those later or just de-string as you move along. But here is what our wreath is looking like. So I'm only going on the 3 sides since the back of it is going to be against a wall or the door, wherever you decide to put this. So I'm leaving that back side flat and then just doing on the kind of the 3 sides here. Okay, so we did that. So now we're due for another red one. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just glue this guy closed. And even though you can see like this one cut off a little bit on the edge there, because remember I said this wasn't quite 12 by 12, so I just tried to scoot everything over a bit. So it's not going to be perfect, but when's the last time you've seen a perfect leaf? And what does that even mean? So I'm not even going to worry about it, and I'm just going to get it stuck on there, and it's going to look just fine. Okay, so now we've kind of got through all of them. So let me just peel a few more of these, and we're just going to kind of take this in strides here. So I'm peeling that backing off because we added some transfer tape to the back of these guys. And then even these ones, like you can see some of these, it still got kind of goofed up where it was cutting. I think it was getting stuck because the transfer tape was not the same height, and you could kind of hear it get a little stuck there. Okay, so there's a few more. So let's just carry on here. So this is going to be our last color, and actually let's, there, I'm going to do it there. And then that way it's red, 2 colors, red, 2 colors, red. And then I think that'll just help kind of space out the colorings. And honestly, I mean, this is our wreath. It can look however we want. So let's just carry on here. We did that there, but we have all the other colors. So we're back to green, and then green's gonna go down here on this side. But I think this is looking really pretty. So if you're just joining us, we are on our, this is our episode number 2 of our Falling for Craft series. And you know what? I will have to add a link when we're done here so you can catch the first one. In case you missed that one, but we're going to do the rest of this month. We're doing fall themed crafts. So we are creating a felt wreath, and then we cut our felt into a leaf shape. So we're doing a leaf wreath. Say that 5 times fast. See what your mouth comes up with. So I am just getting these added on here. And there is a link in the description, and then also in the chat where you can grab the file that I'm using. You can grab that file for free so that you can make this leaf wreath along with us and create one for yourself. And then in the description box, you will find all the links to the supplies that we're using here. So I've got my Cameo 5. We were using the rotary blade to cut out our felt. And then little hack, because you need to use the sticky mat for the felt. It's a little bit too thick for the electrostatic mat. But the hack is to protect your mat with some transfer tape so that you don't get all of the fibers all over your mat, because they're a pain to clean your mat. So throw some transfer tape on your mat, sticky side up, before you put your felt on there, and that'll just protect your mat. With the settings we used for the rotary blade, used the acrylic felt setting. That is a standard setting in there, and then I did a force of 22, and then for the last set here I turned that speed up to 7. I think it initially starts at 5. This felt is pretty thin, that I felt confident we could do that, and it was not, it wasn't a big deal to turn that speed up. The thicker the material you're using, I would turn the speed down, but this is some pretty thin felt, so I was confident to turn that speed up a bit. And the way we laid it out on our page here, we got about 30 odd amount of leaves on each 12 by 12 sheet, which is really great. And then I'm laying them on here. Stem, kind of the beginning of one stem is where the other stem ends, and that is how I'm laying them on here. And I can't seem to keep my pattern going to remember what side I should be on. So maybe you can do better at doing a pattern, but honestly, the colors go so well together. I don't know that even really matters that much if you did them random or in a color coded. I don't think it matters. Okay. Sorry, I keep pulling it away from me so I can see where that top is, and you can't see me do that. So we're just gonna, we just did one sheet of each color, and we're just gonna see how far this gets us. And maybe we'll only get half done with the one sheet, which would be totally okay. Then we could absolutely decorate the rest of this with something else. Maybe we decide we want to cut, depending on if you want this to go outside or stay indoors, would kind of determine what you do next. If you want this to go outside, then maybe try to cut something out of plastic, or maybe you want to put a word across the center of it. If you're going to do this indoors, then you could cut something out of cardstock and do that. Boy, some of these just did not pinch together well. That's okay. And then remember, you can grab the file for free here if you want to do this along with us. It's in the description, and then also I pinned it to the chat, so you can make this one right along with us. And this one's supposed to go here. And then let's just zoom in here so you can see what we're doing. So I'm just trying to go through all my colors, and then I guess I'm going just side, front, back, side, front, back. And I'm only covering the 3 sides because the back of it will actually be against a wall or a door. I think I'm going to put this on the door. I think it'll look fun. And just add a little something fall to it. Okay, so here you can see this is where that one ends. I'm going to put this stem right up next to it and let that leaf kind of cover that up. So we're getting a lot of dimension here by pinching it and then just letting it cover the last stem. And I really like the way that this is turning out. I think the colors look great. All right, we're just gonna keep on trekking along here. See, this is what I mean when I goof up, because these should not go right back here. So I'm gonna put this one on the top, but again, it doesn't really matter. No one's gonna sit here and stare at it and tell you that the colors are wrong other than you. You are going to be your own worst critic. So if you give yourself some grace, then everything will be just fine. So we'll just put that one there. We'll take this one here, didn't cut a stem, so what I'm going to do is just put a little bit kind of on the inside there, give this a really good pinch, see if I can't get that to close up. Oh, and that one, I filled it too much. There is hot glue spilling out the top, but you see how it'll open up like that? And then I'm just going to put a little glue at the bottom here so it has something to stand on. And then I'm going to add this one. I'm just going to come a little ways down here and just add that right there. Okay. We'll keep going. It's a bit of a tedious project, but I think when it's all done, it's going to look really beautiful. We could think about even cutting something out of felt to go across it. That might be fun. Let's see what it looks like when we're done. And then we can decide then if there's something else that we need to add here. But I think this is turning out wonderful. And then while I am trying to do a pattern, I'm not doing a great job of it. So mostly I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not having two leaves of the same color right next to each other. So we did there, so we're going to come over here. Ugh, and even that, 2 in a row, like every other, was probably not where that should have went. That's all right. Oh, see, and now we're going to have 2 reds. Okay, so this one's going to go here. This is what I mean. Like, I've just totally goofed this up now, but it's all right. It's going to work out. So you could decide to just go rogue from your predetermined pattern and just willy-nilly put them where you want them. And actually, you know what? It doesn't matter because these are 2 different colors of red that I think it'll be fine. But this one, I think, is going to completely overshadow our little guy. So I'm going to scoot him down a little bit more. Let me put some more. Since I've already set him down, let me put some more down here, and I'm going to scoot him down a little further. Since that other leaf didn't have a tail, it didn't quite get stuck the same. So I'm going to do it like that so you can still see them on there. Okay. Put this one in the center. So let me know, have you done some felt projects in the past? What have you created? How have you cut felt on your silhouette? If you've used something besides a rotary blade, like, please give me all the details, because I have been trying for years unsuccessfully to cut felt, and the rotary blade has been the only one that I have found to be successful. And I know there's different types of felt, and that makes a difference as well. But yeah, if you've found success, let me know. You guys teach me just as much as perhaps I'm teaching you. We're all learning together. All right, we'll put some glue on this stem. And then I'm going to add this up here and see if I can't get better at staying on pattern. Here I am about to reach for the wrong color. Okay, so now I don't want to put another red on this side here. I'm going to do green, so I'm going to do red up here. And then this one is, again, doesn't have a bottom. It doesn't have a stem. That's the word I want. So we'll just give that a little pinch. It's hard because you need to hold them for a second, but it is warm. I mean, of course it is. It's hot glue, right? So you may find that you would prefer to use a pair of tweezers to hold all these down, and that is absolutely okay. So that one's gonna not quite sit the same. All right, we'll use this one on this side here. See, this is the problem, is like you try really hard to stay on point with your pattern, and then you goof up one part of your pattern, and then that really goofs up the next layer for the pattern. Okay, so this one's going on the inside. Oh, I should have put that. Well, no, that's good. I don't want to put green over there again. I'm going to put red on this outside here. Okay. Ooh, lots of strings. All right, and then I'm going to do green on the inside. Looks like there hasn't been one. Actually, there hasn't been a green on the top either. We'll do that next, but we'll do green on the inside for right now, because the inside needs something. And then we already did the red on the far side, so we'll grab our brown. We can put that in the center. And then I'm just going to scoot this guy down a little bit so it has room, and then you can kind of still see that red underneath it. And then, oh look, we're about a third of the way there already, so that's looking really good, don't you think? I like it. I think it's looking great. Definitely not as much green in there. So we'll have to get better about spacing things out a little bit. So I kind of like it when you have more of the kind of browns and reds, because it really makes the green stand out even more, because it's the only one. But I think this is a great color palette. It's kind of a fall Christmas. Okay, so that's a brown. So this one's gonna go here. I'm just gonna switch up some colors a bit here, because that one was just right here. I'll do this. Oh, where's this next red gonna go? Red's gonna go in here too. Gosh darn. Well, let's use this guy. So when I have just that, I did like a line through the center to help squeeze that. And then just a line kind of on the back where it's gonna stick. And then we can just put that right there. And then it's just covering up the stem from the one above it. That'll work. This one, I think, what did we decide? This one can go down here. All right, well, our felt wreath is coming along. I'll put this one right here. Okay, so back to green. Where do we want green? Oh, that's right. We said green needs to be on the middle. So let's do that. Okay. Oop, I did not want to stay closed. Okay, how are we doing over here? We just did that color and we just did a red, so I think we're going to do this one on the middle as well. You could also just decide to go like down the middle with one color, down the, or not with one color, but like just do all the center first and then come back. But I just didn't know how far we were going to get with all of these colors with only one sheet, which is why I decided to go around and fill everything in, because then if we only got halfway, at least it was fully completed, even if it was just halfway, which I think we're approaching more than halfway right now, which is good. Okay, so what do we need on this side? We can do this brown, that'll work. Put some of that on the back. Okay, we'll stand that up, and then stem, the end of one stem starts the beginning of the next stem. Okay, see, those are looking pretty good. Okay, let's put you back. What color was that? That was that brown. Let's see. Orange needs to go on the center. And then if you wanted to step these up some more, you could take some fabric paint and then paint some kind of leaf lines on there. And that would just give it a little more definition. That's one way you could step this up to make them not look such like plain leaves. You could do this all in one color if you just wanted a single colored. I tend to enjoy a lot of colors, so that's why mine's multicolored here. Red is going to go on the outside. I think the idea with the fabric paint would be really fun. You will have to probably just cut them all and then paint them, set them aside, you know, probably 24 hours, let that dry before you can go adding the hot glue to them so you don't make a huge mess. But that is an option. It's a good way to step this up. And then we've also talked about if you want to throw a saying across the center of it, you could do that in felt. You could do it in cardstock if you wanted to do this as an indoor. You could do it in like a plastic if you wanted this to sit outside. Lots of different options for you. I'll just scoot this one down so we don't completely hide our red there. Okay. Now, green is going, where does green need to go? Green's going to go on the far side. So, a little bit of glue in the center to give it a good pinch. Just be mindful that this is very hot. I'm pretty sure I won't have fingerprints for a little while after all this. I have definitely scalded my fingers a little bit. So just be careful. Probably not something you want your kids to play with. Don't need to burn anybody. Or pull out a pair of tweezers and let that do all of the crimping for you. Okay, so this one's going to go on this side, even though we just had, it was a different color red. This is more of that maroon red, so we'll let those overlap. So if I wanted to use a pair of tweezers, go ahead and use my tweezers to give that a good squeeze. You may have to kind of press it in a couple different areas and then put some glue down the stem. And then this is going to go right here. And then you can also just use those tweezers to press that on there. And then there is no finger damage, which is fantastic. Okay, so this is coming right along. We're just gonna keep on trucking. So putting that little bit of glue on the inside here just to pinch that. I think that helps give this leaf some dimension by giving it a good pinch. And you know, you don't even always have to pinch it in the center. You can give those leaves some character. All right, and this one's coming to the inside here. And then I'm doing the end of one stem is where the next stem starts. I am trying to keep it kind of centered on whatever pile it's in. So that whatever the flat edge, it'll just get centered across that flat edge. The best that you can. And just a reminder, if you're just now joining us, we used our rotary blade with our Silhouette Cameo 5 to cut this felt so that we can make our lovely wreath here. And then there is a link in the description, and it's also pinned at the top of the chat. So you can grab this leaf file for free so you can create right along with us. We did not resize anything. We just did a full 12 by 12 sheet of each color, and then was able to just add that on there. Just one sheet, and we'll see how far we get with one sheet. It gets about, the way I did it, kind of turning them upside down and filling them all out, I was able to get, I think it's about 33 pieces, leaves of each color. So I think that really helps. And we'll see if it's enough to do the whole project. And then just trying to not burn ourselves using the, see, the problem is now I got some glue on the tweezers. So now the tweezers want to stick to the felt. Every answer has a con and a pro to it. Okay, so that is gone. So we're just doing the three sides here. So this back side I'm leaving blank because that's going to be up against the wall. So we've got this edge here, this edge here, and then this inside edge. And I'm just going around with all of our different colors and then trying to get those added on there. So this time we'll do green on the inside. And I'm just putting in, I didn't start with a full stick of glue. So I've gone through, this will be my third, or the second time I've added to what was already in there. So I guess technically that's probably my third stick, but that first stick was not full. Just so you know, in case you're wondering how much glue this is going to use. And I just, nothing fancy here. I just have a glue gun that I probably picked up, you know, Walmart, the craft store somewhere. Nothing fancy. The thing I wish my glue gun did have was an on-off switch, so I could just have it plugged in and then just right here decide to turn it on and off instead of having to unplug it to turn it off. All right, so this one we're gluing up here on the top. And we're just going to keep going around. I think I'm going to put this on a door. Typically I put things on the outside of the front door, but with this being felt and we're about to hit the rainy season, even though I do have, you know, it's covered, I might just put this like on the inside of my garage door so that I see it inside the house. I think that would be kind of nice. It's not very often that I decorate kind of the inside of the door, but that's the part that you see the most when you're inside the house. So I think I'll be using this for some inside decor. And the pumpkins in my garden, I planted one pumpkin plant and I planted it just, I will make some dog treats out of the pumpkin, and then I really just grew them for decoration. So those are, they're ready. I have one that is still kind of green, but from the one plant I got 6 pumpkins and 5 of them are ready to go out on display. They're big and beautiful. So it rained really well this morning. Everybody got a free drink of water. And then I think this afternoon I'll be able to start putting out some fall decorations. And I'll put those pumpkins out. And then I have my mums, the flowers. They're starting to put on some flowers, so I don't think they're quite ready to fully go out and display, but I will probably put those out on display here in a couple weeks. I put them in the front and I don't tend to remember to water out there. So I'm just going to wait a little bit longer with those so they'll all bloom and then I can put it out. So probably that'll actually probably go out another month. And then I know if you're on my email list, you saw the picture, was that last year, I think, that I posted. I have like a raised platform area in my front when I cut down a tree. And that is what I decorate for the different seasons. So I have a little scarecrow that'll go up there. The pumpkins, the mums will sit on there. And then come Halloween, we've made some wooden Halloween signs in the past. And you can find that video on the channel of how we did that with some wood and some vinyl. And then those will go out for October. We'll put this one over here on this side. Okay, so if you're just joining us, welcome. We are creating a felt wreath. We cut our little leaves here from some felt using our rotary blade on the Cameo 5. And then in the description box and linked in the chat, you can find a link to where you can grab this file for free. So you can craft along with us. And then in the description are the links to the felt, the hoop, and all the other supplies that I use. So you can replicate this one at home as well. And then this is the second video in a series called Falling for Crafts, where we are doing some fall craft projects. And then next week on Tuesday, I will be dropping our third video in the series, and we are going to be creating some drink sleeves. So that'll be another fun project. So if you have any ideas for fall projects that you want to learn how to make, please leave those in the description and we'll add them to the list. So make sure you grab that free file. All it's going to cost you is a name and an email address. And then you'll get that file sent to you straight to your email. And the file comes in SVG and Silhouette Studio file format. So no matter what version of Silhouette Studio you are using, you will be able to use my files. So that is a shift I started making not that long ago. I guess I officially decided that I'm doing it for all my files, probably earlier this year. So all my files moving forward will come in SVG and Silhouette Studio. I used to do like SVG only for my card files because it was too complicated to do DXF files, because DXF is all just lines. And it's not always easy to differentiate what the heck you're supposed to do on a card file when everything's a line. So I was just doing SVG. So I'm glad I made the move to provide the Silhouette Studio file as well. So that way you can all follow along and craft with me. So now moving forward, all of my free files and any of my card files that you can get in my shop or on Etsy, in my Etsy shop, you will find in SVG and Silhouette Studio file formats. But if you do a lot of crafting and you're purchasing files outside of Silhouette Design Store, I do recommend just upgrading to Designer's Edition, because using an SVG file is just, it's so much more convenient, and it opens up the door to you being able to find a lot more files to use, because SVG is it's a universal file that a lot of different cutting machines are using, and not even just for Silhouette, but for Cricut, and even Glowforge uses SVG files. So a lot of the craft cutters are SVG format. So you will open the doors to more available projects if you get that Designer's Edition. So definitely recommend it. And you know, if you've followed this channel for any point in time, you know that I teach a lot of the different elements that are inside of the different editions. So Designer's Edition, you'll get some more flexi shapes, and I believe the pop-up panel, I think, is Designer's Edition. It might be Business, I can't remember. And then you know, you get more stuff like the contour, and there's just a lot more advanced features that you get with the more advanced editions of Silhouette Studio. But like I said, if you're planning on using, you know, if you follow people that are giving away lots of free files, I imagine they're mostly just in SVG format. So Designer's Edition is definitely highly recommended for you moving forward to make your life easier. So we are just going to continue wrapping these around. I am going to start running low on orange because that sheet kind of got goofed up. I was trying to cut multiple mats and using, see if, because this is so thin, I thought maybe I could actually get this to work with my fabric blade. But the version of Silhouette Studio I'm using, in the version 5, it does not want to help you cut on multiple machines at once. So the Cameo 5 kind of stopped, and then it didn't really seem to know where it was at, and then goofed up half of my sheet. So while that was unfortunate, it turned out okay. But maybe we'll get away with it. We'll see. Okay, that color. Yeah. Did I put a red? Nope, I did not. Oh, yes, I did. There it is. There and there. Okay. Back to green. So we cut this out using the rotary blade, and then we covered our sticky mat with transfer tape to not let all the fibers ruin our mat while we were cutting. And you know, I like to do that as one of my favorite hacks. I use it all the time for anytime I'm cutting anything that's going to leave residue on my mat. So when I cut faux leather, when I cut heat foil, when I do fabric, felt, anything that's going to have fibers on there, I like to cover my mat with the transfer tape to protect my mat. Because now I have not sat here and mathed it out, but in my head, a roll of transfer tape is cheaper than buying more and more mats, because they're not sticky anymore because you can't get all the fibers off of it. So that was to me, it was an easy investment into more transfer tape. And then, you know, if you ruin the transfer tape, it's okay. You're just trashing it. So you put that on the mat with the sticky side up. So the sticky side of the mat is against the smooth side of the transfer tape. And then you'll stick that on there, and then you put your felt on top of that. And that's how we got all of our felt cut out, and our mats still look perfectly new. So I'm just pinching these, and then just be careful that you don't burn your fingers. It is hot. I'll just put this one here. And then putting glue down the stem, and then also from the top of one stem to the bottom of another stem is where I'm placing these. So here it cut through the transfer tape as well, so I just had to peel that transfer tape off the back. And then just getting these guys stuck down. Come on. I think this looks awesome. I think it's turning out to look even better than I thought. And it's going to be close. We might make it all the way around. If not, I think we'll come up with some other ideas of how to finish filling this out. I don't have anything kind of pre-planned as to how we're going to do this. If we have to finish filling it out, I was just going to do a circular wreath and leave it like that. But we'll see. We'll see what it looks like when it's all done. Maybe we'll have to add a little something to it. But I am super excited that I have finally found a way to successfully cut some felt. And that pack of felt that I have is a huge pack of felt. So I'm really excited to start doing some more felt projects. So if you have any good recommendations for a felt project or something else with felt you'd like to see, you'd like to learn how to create, let me know. Put it down in the comments. Shoot me an email, however you want, but just let me know, and we'll see if we can't add that to the list of craft projects to create this year. You guys always are really good about sending me ideas of things that you want to see how to do, and I appreciate that because it makes it so much easier for me to try to constantly be figuring out more ideas. So I really appreciate when you guys share your ideas with me. And then it's a win-win for both of us because you get to learn how to make what you want to make. And I have another idea of what to make. And usually one idea sparks another. So it's always a good opportunity. So there's a link in the description to all of the supplies I use. It's all Amazon links. And I would really appreciate if you were considering making some purchases to get the supplies. I would really appreciate it if you used my links. It's free for you. It doesn't cost you anything to use my link, but I might get a little commission off of that. And the little bit of commission that I make does help fund the supplies that I buy to make all these projects for you. So that's a really great way for you to support the channel, and it doesn't cost you anything. And it just helps keep things coming so I can keep bringing you more of the videos that you want to see. Another great way to support the channel is just to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know we're on the right track here, making the kind of projects that you want to learn how to make. So those are two ways that you can help support the channel here, and that don't really cost you anything but some time. All right, so we're coming around here, getting this project done, and I think this is just turning out so awesome. What's going to be really fun is once we kind of get in here trying to lift these up. I think it's better now that we're only gluing down the stems, so these are able to lift up, because we're going to end up kind of like stuffing them in there, I think, as we get closer. So, okay, that was what did we just do? A red. Pull this one in here. So all we're doing is just a little bit in the center here to clamp these closed, to just add a little more dimension to our leaves, and then putting a strip of glue down the stem. Now, if you wanted to step these up a notch, you could absolutely grab some fabric paint and then paint some lines on these leaves to give them some more definition. I think that would be a great way to step these up. You probably have to cut them all out and then do the paint. That'll probably take a good 24 hours for that paint to dry. So this would then be a multi-day process, but I think the end result would absolutely be worth it. So there's an idea. If you're looking for ways to step this up a notch to make it even prettier. Or like we've been discussing, you could add a saying or something across the middle of this to bridge the center so it's not just open. But all of the ones that I've seen, I've seen people are just leaving them as they are, and they look beautiful just with the leaves as well. So it's up to you how much effort you want to put into this and how much time you have, because we all know that takes time. So we're just pinching the center and putting some down the bottom here. We cut one sheet of each color, which I was nervous that would not be enough. I didn't really know what to think. And I was nervous it wasn't going to be enough, but I think it is going to be plenty, and we're probably going to have some left over. So we could always go in, if we decided we needed to make this more full, we could do that. We could save them for a different project. Lots of things that we could do with some extras, but I would rather have extra than not enough. So here's these reds. I didn't finish getting them cleaned up. So remember, we put that transfer tape on the sticky mat to protect the sticky mat. So I'm just peeling that transfer off the back of these. You could probably leave it on there if you wanted. Might prevent you from burning your fingers. But it'll also make them look shiny and a little bit stiff. So that is up to you. So this red, I'm going to put right here. And then while I do have, I'm trying to do a color combination, I'm finding that, you goof it up once, and then you just have to be mindful to try not to put the same color right next to each other. So I've just been kind of, for the most part, sticking to the same pattern, but occasionally have to change it up. So like this one is the same one, so I'm going to put this one. Oh, and I did it with the brown and didn't notice. So I'll put this one over here. At least I didn't do two of the same right in a row, but wasn't really paying attention. And then that was that color. Did two of the, every other of the same color, but that's okay. You could decide maybe you want to do this all in the same color, or maybe you only want to do 2 colors and you just want to kind of speckle it in with different colors, or maybe like you want to do 3 colors and then each side gets 1 color. You could do it that way too. There's so many different options for how you want to do this. We're doing this for fall, but you could absolutely do this for spring, and do, you know, just do green, make it a very green wreath. You could do different kind of shapes of leaves. You could do winter colors, Christmas colors to make things a little bit different. So many different options here. But I can't wait to get this one up and on display. This is just turning out so marvelous. So if you're just joining us, I'm Christy here at Crafty Christy's Creations, and we are in our 2nd episode of our Falling for Craft series for 2025. We are creating a felt wreath using a free leaf shape that you can grab on my website, craftychristyscreations.com/leaf-cut-file. That link is in the description, and then also it is pinned at the top of the chat. So you can grab that leaf file, and then we cut all of these out using our Cameo 5 and the rotary blade on the sticky mat. So we did a whole 12 by 12 sheet, and then all of the other supplies here is listed in the description as well. In case you're interested in crafting along with us, you can absolutely do that. So we did 1 sheet of each color here. And this is just really coming along. And then we used that transfer tape to protect our mats so we didn't get all the fibers all over the mat. So I'm just peeling that off the back. So I went through most of them and got them all peeled off, and this sheet of red was the last sheet that we did, so I just peeling this one off as we go. And then I'm just trying to come around here and make sure that the pattern, I don't have 2 of the same leaf right in a row in the same spot. And we're just going around on 3 sides of this. This is a 12-inch diameter bamboo hoop, I guess is the right word for it. Again, the links are in the description if you want to grab what we're using here. And then we're just using our hot glue here to get everything situated. And I'm taking the bottom of where the last stem ends is where I am adding our new one on there. So that's what we're working with here. So you can see we're really things are coming along. And then on the back, we did not put anything on the back, so it's nice and open, so it'll sit up flush against the wall really easily. So we're just doing like the top, kind of this front little lip, and then this inside lip. So the outside, the inside, and then the front lip. And then just working our way through all of our colors here. And we just did that one, so we're back to green. So yeah, I think 1 sheet of 12 by 12 felt, we got about 33 leaves in each color, and that seems to be plenty to get this done. We're gonna put this one over here. Sorry, I keep getting out of view. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions about what we're creating or how to work with the rotary blade. I did turn up the speed up to 7 Initially started with 5 and then a force of 22 with 1 pass. That's how we use the rotary blade to cut all this felt. And it did a great job. And then we're just putting a little bit of glue in the kind of the center bottom of our leaf to help pinch that, just to give it some added dimension, and then some glue on the bottom side here to stick her on down. And then the hardest part is just trying not to burn your fingers. So I was trying to use tweezers, but then it was like the tweezers were getting kind of stuck. Maybe I just need to move up to not use the tiny pieces, but it looks like there's glue on the ends of my tweezers too. So I'm not quite sure what the right answer is. But mostly just be careful so you don't burn yourself, because it doesn't feel good to burn your fingers. Whoops. And then don't worry, I've got all sorts of lovely little runners from this hot glue. We could absolutely spend time when we're done cleaning all that up to just get those out of the way. Not a problem. Okay. Red, and then this guy. Ooh, and it's time to put another glue stick in. So this is just, you know, nothing fancy here. This is just a hot glue gun I picked up at the craft store with some glue sticks that are made for it. Nothing fancy. Just putting some glue on there, and that should be enough to hold them in place. Where does this one? This one's going to go here. So you can see from the side here, just where the bottom of this one ends is where I start the stem of the next one. That's giving it that elevation so that they can all just kind of lift up, and you can fluff them up, or, you know, just gives it some more availability to make this really fill out. And look how cute that is. It's really coming along. I think we're gonna get it all done here with just the one sheet, which is awesome. Okay, that was that color. Back to the green. We'll do green on the center this time. So now when we start kind of tucking in here, we're going to have to be really mindful of both ends, kind of what's before it and what's after it. I don't really like having every other, but I definitely don't want 2 in a row of the same color. So we'll just have to be really mindful of what colors go and where, because I've already gifted up a couple times, which is half the problem. Oh, this one didn't want to stay closed. But again, just give yourself some grace. You're the only one who's gonna notice, because ain't nobody else gonna nitpick your crafts like you are, because everybody else is just gonna think they look beautiful and not question anything, because you're the crafty one, not them, right? So they'll just take your judgment and fly with it. So let me know in the comments, where are you going to put your wreath? I'm thinking mine's going to go on the inside of my garage door. That's where I spend a lot of time, because that's kind of like the kitchen living room area. So that'll be a good place for me to enjoy it. You know, it's funny, I spend so much time decorating the outside of my house, but then I realize, like, I don't get to really enjoy that. Everyone else gets to enjoy that. And I don't spend near as much time decorating the inside of the house, which is where I spend my time. And I sure as heck don't tend to decorate my craft room, which is where I spend the majority of my time. Imagine that. Do you decorate your craft room for the seasons? I mean, I know we all spend a lot of time in our craft room. I mean, that's how you get good at something, right? You have to spend time doing it. But this is not the room that I spend the time to make stuff for. Unless it's practical, like something I need. That'll make working in the space easier or something. So this one we're going to put on the front. And then just a little line down the side here. Okay. Let's see, where did we last? I think red's going to go right here on the front as well. Well, we have a chance. Ooh, that one hurt. Don't squeeze them too hard. This is pretty thin, so I am finding that my fingers are not going to be happy with me till I'm all done. So I might not have fingerprints by the time we're done. What do you guys do? Do you wear gloves to protect your fingers when you're working with hot glue? Do you just deal with it? I tend to be in the camp of just dealing with it. But then tomorrow I'll be like, why did I do that? Why didn't I protect my hands? But then I worry, like, you're just going to get hot glue in your gloves, and then it's just going to cause a different problem. Then you're going to glue your fingers together in your gloves. So, I don't know. The tweezers just got glue all over them, so that didn't work very well because then I'm just spreading glue everywhere. So, I guess I don't have a good answer. Okay, come on, stay together. There we go. So we're getting down to the part where I really have to start thinking about where the colors are going to go, where the next color is going to end up. So I don't really like this spot. There's a lot of that kind of orange right in together. Actually, that seems like that happened quite a bit. So I guess I can't really complain. But I got to think about like where the green is. So I'm going to do a green up top here. It looks like there'll be, we should be able to fit maybe one. Oh, this guy's not really showing up there. Yeah, that'll be probably the best place for it so that it's not too close to any of the other green spots. Because I'm probably only going to get probably just one more in there. Excuse me. So here's where it gets fun. So now we have to do this red. This dark red, there's already one right there. There's already one there. So I think I'm actually going to skip the dark red. Let's bring in the brown. I'm going to do the brown. I'm going to do the brown on the inside. Yeah, I'm going to do it on the... There's so much brown already right here. This side would like a green, but there's a green there. This would maybe like a red. Can you see what I'm looking at here? So we have kind of a lot of the same coloring here. So I don't know if I really wanted... I mean, brown is different. So that is a little bit darker than what everything is here. So I think I will do brown right there. And then maybe we'll throw a red underneath it. But we're we're winding up here. We're almost done, I think. So I'm just gonna set that in the inside here. Okay. And then I think we can do another orange. That's orange. I think I'm gonna tuck an orange down here on the inside under that green from where we started. So I'm kind of working a little bit backwards and forward, kind of all at the same time, just seeing what's gonna look good where. So let me see if I can turn this so you can see. So we've got this green one right here, and I'm gonna stick this one under there. And I'm gonna tuck it under there to where that stem starts, and then look at that. There, that's all done, I think, right there. I might try to stick one more in here to help fill it in, and probably gonna do a red to fill that area in. Let's go ahead and choose a bright red. Well, now that I know I had so many extra, I had some of these reds that were not the right color, or not color, didn't cut correctly, and I probably should have saved those to the end, but I was also concerned that I didn't want to put all of the misfits in one section and then have that show. Okay, so we're going to tuck a red from where that orange is that we just did. So I'm going to lift that orange up, and it is going to overlap a bit, but I am going to just try to tuck that in. So I kind of wrapped the stem of it around just so it'll fit in there, and it's probably a little bit over full right in that area. I know it's probably hard to see. So this is the red one we just placed. So it's a little full in there, and then it just kind of wrapped around the stem a little bit. So I like the way that looks. And then let's see, this side needs, it's gonna need another green, I think, in here, but let's see, this one will need, we're going to do this color right here on the top. That'll look good. Can kind of only think one at a time here, and then see how that looks, and then re-guess. But I think we're going to have to do another kind of that chocolate brown up in there too. So this one's going to go on the top under those stems, and then this guy will sit right on top there. I think I like the way that looks good. And then now we're just really filling in this section right here. I think we do need a chocolate right in here. And then this orange is kind of hidden. So yeah, I think a chocolate brown will look good right there. I know there's a lot kind of around it. And then if we can fit one more in there on that same plane, and I think, yeah, we've got room to fit probably one more. We might do that kind of burgundy red right there as well. What do you guys think? I know there's a lot of brown right kind of around there. So that looks good. And then, whoops, close up, close, close, close. You really got to hold those. Give them a minute. So we have the red here. We have the red there. Orange. We just did the brown. Let's do another orange, I think. Let's see. Should we do orange or should we do green? So that's what orange would look like. That's what green. I think we're gonna do a green. Break up those colors a little bit. So because we have so many kind of oranges, brown, red, the green really stands out a lot more. And sometimes you just need a showstopper. And I think adding a little touch of green in there is going to do that for us. Okay, our wreath is done. What do you think? I think it turned out beautiful. So from this point, you could decide if you want to make something to go across this. If you were going to do that out of felt, I would probably glue your felt to some chipboard, and maybe because we left the back open, you could do it from the back and make your chipboard a little bit bigger and then put your felt on the front of the chipboard, but set that in the back half. But I think I'm just going to leave it just like this. So let's take a look at what we did. Here is our completed wreath. Let me back up here so you can see it a little better. What do you think? I think it turned out really great. So remember, go ahead and grab that cut file so you can play along, and then give this video a thumbs up. Let me know that you like our second video for our Falling for Crafts series. All right, so that's what I have for you today. Next week, we will do our third episode, which will be creating a coffee sleeve. I'll see you then. Bye.